Alright guys, we've had a bit of a mess here with the federal courts trying to strike down Trump's tariffs. Now of course, you might know the federal courts have been going after Trump and trying to ruin pretty much his entire platform and anything he does. At this point, it's honestly kind of like we have another branch of government. The president can't do anything and the courts are the real president. But hey, if the Supreme Court's not going to step in and stop it, I guess that's just the way the government works now. I mean, I'm not sure what the point of democracy is when the unelected judges are the ones making the real decisions at the end of the day. That's right, a federal trade court struck down Trump's reciprocal tariffs. If we get on here, we take a look. The U.S. Court of International Trade on Wednesday blocked steep reciprocal tariffs unilaterally imposed by President Donald Trump on scores of countries in April to correct what he said were persistent trade imbalances. And then they even kind of gloat and they say, the ruling deals a potentially serious blow to the Republican president's economic agenda and ongoing efforts to negotiate trade deals with various nations. I do wonder why they always mention that he's a Republican. It seems kind of self-evident. In its ruling, a 3-judge panel on the Court of International Trade said that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which Trump invoked to impose the tariffs, does not authorize the president to levy universal duties on imports. The worldwide and retaliatory tariff orders exceed any authority granted to the president by IEEPA to regulate importation by means of tariffs, the judges wrote, and separate specific tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China related to drug trafficking fail because they do not deal with the threats set forth in those orders, the panel wrote. Implementing tariffs typically requires congressional approval. This line isn't actually true anymore. This line isn't actually true. There's been laws on the books for like at least 100 years letting the president put tariffs on other countries, and the president is in charge of international relations, so I don't know why the writer's inserting their opinion here. But anyway, they gave Trump only 10 days to implement these changes and take the tariffs off. That's right, these unelected judges decided that they were going to overturn one of the cornerstones of Trump's campaign that he was democratically elected to be able to do, and only gave him 10 days to follow their orders. Some democracy we've got, folks. Anyway, luckily, these judges got told to sit down and shut up by some other judges. We go here, we take a look at this article, Trump tariffs reinstated by appeals court, for now. Now, of course, they put for now in there because they want to be ominous and they want to make it seem like it's not going to stand. It will stand. The reason that appeals courts overturn lower court decisions is because they believe that the lower court had an error in their decision, and when they stay a decision like this, it's typically because they believe that the offending party, in this case Trump, will succeed on the merits of his case. So let's go down here and let's take a read. A federal appeals court on Thursday granted the Trump administration's request to temporarily pause a lower court ruling that struck down most of President Donald Trump's tariffs. The judgment issued Wednesday night by the U.S. Court of International Trade is temporarily stayed until further notice while this court considers the motion's papers. Now what that means is basically they're going to look at the arguments and they're going to decide whether or not they can put it back in place. However, just granting a stay initially means that they already have an idea that Trump will prevail in his request, because that's how it works. If they don't believe that somebody's going to prevail in their request, they won't grant a stay, they'll let the lower court ruling stand, which courts have done with other rulings against Trump by lower courts, even just this month. So obviously here, this means that the tariffs are going to go back in place, and I would be very, very shocked if the appeals court or the Supreme Court doesn't decide to let them stand forever, because this is clearly within Trump's power, based on the laws on the books, and the lower court judges, they just don't care. They want to impede Trump at every chance they get and stop him from implementing what he was elected to do, which I think is a constitutional crisis, but apparently a lot of people don't. Anyway, with the tariffs being overturned, my guess is the White House looks like this right now. Trump doing a little dance. That's what I'm like every time the Democrats lose. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. This was my first video on this channel, so I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. Remember to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and God bless you.